Shang shines, Djokovic and Swiatek reach Australian Open second round. Melbourne, January 19. Xinhua, an aggressive Shang ensured China will have a men's player in the second round of the Australian Open, while Novak Djokovic and Iga Swiatek started their title quests with contrasting victories on Monday. There were 3 Chinese players in action on a busy second day at a warm Melbourne park, with Shang stealing the show after overpowering former top 10 player Roberto Bautista Gut 6-4, 6-7, 2, 6-4, 6-0 in 2 hours and 52 minutes. Shang, 20, blasted 63 winners and will next face Botic van de Zandschulp, who upset 27th seed Brandon Nakashima in 4 sets. But compatriot Bjornchikit, China's highest-ranked men's player, was troubled by a wrist injury in his 6-3, 7-6, 3, 6-1 loss to 21st seed Denis Shapovalov of Canada. The match took a dramatic turn when the world number 120 tumbled in the second set tiebreak, and he bravely battled on, but could not halt Shapovalov's rampant serve. Shapovalov, a former world number 10, will play 2014 U.S. Open champion Marin Cilic in the second round. In the night session at Rod Laver Arena, Djokovic was in vintage form and produced several eye-catching shots in his 6-3, 6-2, 6-2 victory over Pedro Martinez in 2 hours. Tonight's performance was definitely great. I cannot complain about anything, said Djokovic, who won his 100th match at the Australian Open. Djokovic, a 10-time champion at Melbourne Park, blasted 17 winners and had only 6 unforced errors in an ominous start to a campaign he hopes culminates in a record 25th Grand Slam title. The Serb will play Francesco Mestrelli in the second round. Earlier, Australia's main hope Alex de Minaur fed off a partisan crowd at Rod Laver Arena in his 6-2, 6-2, 6-3 win over American Mackenzie McDonald. There is much pressure on world number 6 de Minaur, who has never gone beyond the last 8 at a major, while it is 50 years since an Australian men's singles player lifted the trophy on home soil. It's about me taking that next step and believing in my abilities, and that's going to be the only thing that's going to allow me to ultimately take that next step, de Minaur said. Daniil Medvedev, a 3-time beaten finalist, and Andrei Rublev also progressed. But 7th seed Felix Auger-Aliassime has become an early casualty after retiring from his opening match against Nuno Borges with cramp. In the women's draw, Chinese qualifier Yuan Yu produced a gutsy effort against Swiatek, who battled through 7-6, 5, 6-3 in 2 hours. 2nd seed Swiatek is chasing an elusive Australian Open title to complete her slate of major trophies. But the Pole struggled at times to counter the aggressive play of the 130th ranked Yuan, who did require medical attention in the 3rd set due to a back issue. I was a bit rusty in the beginning, and she took the opportunity, said Swiatek, who had 35 unforced errors. Many ups and downs, I have some stuff to work on. 3rd seed Coco Gauff brushed aside Uzbekistan's Kamila Rakimova 6-2, 6-3 to set up a clash with Serbia's Olga Danilovic, who progressed on day 1 after a 3-set win over 45-year-old wildcard Venus Williams. Gauff endured an erratic performance, but her trademark speed was notable as she eyes a 3rd Grand Slam title. At this point, I just want to win the tournament, so if I lose in the first round or in the final, I don't think I would be satisfied, Gauff said. American 4th seed Amanda Anisimova made a statement with a 6-3, 6-2 victory over Simona Waltert of Switzerland. Last year was a great year and trying to bring some confidence and a lot of great moments into this year, Anisimova said, who has reached the final of the last 2 Grand Slams. 2nd seed Jannik Sinner starts his quest for a 3rd straight Australian Open title on Tuesday, with 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka also in action. Chinese players Wu Yibing, Wan Xinyu and Zhang Shuai will be playing their first-round matches on day 3. Under the Melbourne sun that always seems a little brighter in January, the Australian Open opened another chapter of its annual epic, one that blended promise, power, and the steady certainty of champions who refused to fade. On a day when tennis balanced the future and the familiar on the same blue canvas, Shang announced himself, while Novak Djokovic and Swiatek reminded the world why their footsteps already echo in history. The first whispers of magic came early, carried by the quick feet and fearless swings of Shang. Still young enough to be labeled a prospect, still brave enough to ignore that label entirely, he stepped onto Rod Laver Arena with the kind of energy that crackles before a storm. Every point he played felt like a question posed directly to the sport itself. Why not now? Shang's racket spoke in sharp, confident accents. His forehand cut through the court like a blade, his backhand absorbed pressure and sent it back heavier, deeper, truer. But it wasn't just the strokes that turned heads, it was the posture. He didn't look like a player borrowing time on a big stage. He looked like someone moving furniture into it. When rallies stretched and lungs burned, Shang didn't blink. He ran, retrieved, counterpunched, and, at the right moments, attacked with a clarity that belied his age. The crowd sensed it too. Each winner drew louder applause, not just for the shot, but for the idea behind it, the possibility of a new story beginning right in front of them. By the time match point arrived, Shang had done more than win. He had shown, lighting a path forward for a generation eager to step into the glow. As they leaned into evening, the arena atmosphere shifted. Anticipation deepened. Experience walked out next. Novak Djokovic's entrance no longer needs ceremony, it carries its own gravity. There is comfort in his presence, a feeling that the laws of tennis physics will soon reassert themselves. Early in his first-round match, the rhythm clicked into place, the elastic defense, the impossible angles, the returns that land so deep they feel premeditated. Djokovic moved like someone who has memorized the court grain by grain. There were moments of resistance, flashes from his opponent that reminded everyone this was still a contest. But Djokovic absorbed them calmly, almost gently, as if acknowledging effort before restoring order. His serve sharpened when it mattered. His backhand, flat, unyielding, precise, drew lines where there seemed to be none. When points stretched into endurance tests, Djokovic looked not strained but focused, as though he were solving a familiar puzzle one last time. Reaching the second round felt less like a milestone and more like a ritual. Another opening door. Another quiet statement, I'm still here. Not long after, the women's draw offered its own certainty wrapped in intensity. Swiatek took the court with her trademark combination of ferocity and discipline, a player who treats each rally as a small battle and each match as a campaign. From the first game, her footwork carved patterns into the baseline, her topspin forehand leaping high and heavy, pushing her opponent further back with every exchange. Swiatek's brilliance lies not just in power, but in control, of tempo, of space, of herself. She adjusted seamlessly, mixing depth with angles, patience with sudden acceleration. When pressure moments arrived, she didn't rush them away, she dismantled them piece by piece. A long rally here, a surgical return there, and suddenly the scoreboard tilted unmistakably in her favor.